perfect.
Hey, hey, Babbling Fantasy Football.
We're back.
We're
Yes,
back.
sir. Here we go. We got a good all Friday on our hands here, October 17th. We got Chuck here, and along with me, Ryan, we're going to provide you some week 7 starts. And first of all, did you watch the Uncle game last night, Charlie? The old QBs
Yeah,
performing
I,
against each
I was
other.
gonna call it the old man game, but
Yeah,
that
oh man.
phrased it even better. I had it on while I was playing some video games, and then I watched like the second half. So I saw a lot of the good parts, but yeah, no, it was a good one, surprisingly good. I thought the Steelers were gonna win by quite a bit. What'd you think of
Yeah,
the game?
I did too. I mean, it was something I had it on as well. Just like I was at some of my friends' place, we were playing Catan, which I won. Good shout out to Catan. But anyways, that's
Nice.
besides the point. And the second half, yeah, like the defenses were just non-existent. I feel like also they were doing well. Both QBs were in. I mean, Joe Flacco fit right in, and they're saying during the game is like he's obviously never really played with a wide receiver caliber of like Jamar Chase and even T. Higgins. So it was something to see them fit right in, and thought Pittsburgh was going to end up winning the game at the end there. Then they scored too soon. Joe
Yeah.
Flacco let him back. So that was it was a fun game to watch for Thursday night. So, but
Yeah, I think he helped out their offense a lot. Surprisingly, he had like more time to throw than Jake Browning that had those other games, which yeah, was crazy. Maybe the offensive line was just trying extra hard because they knew it was Joe Flacco that was back there. But I think that now you can't really count out the Bengals. Like they're
right.
not that far off in the division right now. And if Joe comes back in like middle of December, they could definitely make a playoff push here. It'll be interesting to see. It'll be fun to watch down the stretch, and I'm sure all the Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and even Chase Brown owners are happy.
Yeah,
Seeing Flacco play like that.
that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, I mean, personally, I benched T. Higgins in a few leagues last night, and I know other people kind of did just based on his performance recently and other kind of wide receivers of his caliber doing a little bit better and not really knowing where Joe Flacco's at. Do you think, what are your thoughts on him and Chase Brown kind of being like starters now go forward? Do you think they have earned that or not quite yet after week 1? And obviously, it's dependent on who else you have on your team, obviously, and matchups too. But do you think last night gave you, obviously, like you were saying, it gave people hope? But do you think it is their starterable guys? Even just go ahead to next week, looking at that.
I
Um,
think Jamar Chase is definitely you start him every week, and you were doing that
well,
even
yeah,
depending no
yeah,
matter what. Those other guys, I think it's a lot matchup based. I know Pittsburgh was like a middle of the pack to slightly tougher matchup. Um, So I think that they become flex guys, so it just depends on what other options you have going forward. What do you think?
yeah. That's what I think. Chase Brown might be a surefire starter as a flex go forward. I think. I don't know if T is quite got there yet. I mean, Jamar had 22 targets last night. I think it was 23 targets, which was insane. I know T had, I think, 7 catches or something like that for almost 100 yards, and then he had a touchdown as well. But I think if Jamar's getting those 22 targets and that's going to continue, who knows exactly, like you said, matchup base wise, I think it's still matchup base for T. Higgins. But I do think Chase Brown is a surefire start for your flex. And if you obviously have running backs on by, then slot him in your back or your running back spot. Go forward. So that is my opinion on him. I'll probably take him off the trade block in our league. I know Chase Brown didn't get any catches really, which was kind of annoying last night, and he didn't really get obviously the goal line opportunities and no touchdowns. But I think he was able to find his groove and they're able to spread the ball out more. So he's actually has a lot of more running lanes, which is nice.
Yeah, no,
And
I
could be
I
a
might disagree with you slightly until
yeah,
Joe gets back. I don't know how much confidence I'll have in him,
that's fair.
but yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, he has potential. There's just some other guys I might rather start over him, but I feel like I Yeah, he's in like the mix for me with like a J.K. Dobbins type where you could definitely start him over if he has the better matchup or kind of around the Jalen Warren type is how I view him going forward.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I mean, yeah, Jalen Warren also did really well last night too, so that's a good comp.
Sucks I went
Yeah,
up against Jamar Chase in our main league, so I'm already gonna have to fight back to try to win that matchup. But
we did it last week. So and
yep,
Scatterboo did well on Thursday night.
that's true. That's true. All
Let's
right,
do it
let's
again.
get into our starts. I do have a
Yep.
couple of injury updates. Puka just got ruled out about an hour ago.
Yep.
And then there was one other one. Just checking my phone. Terry McLaurin just got ruled out as
Mm.
well. So you guys are gonna have to find other options. It's good they're telling us in advance though, and it
Yep.
looks like Carson Wentz will start for the Vikings. But let's do things in reverse order here. Let's switch it up a little bit.
Okay.
Let's talk about the fun shiny turd.
The
Some
shiny
people might
turd.
just tune out that last part of the segment, so we're going to make you listen through the shiny turd part. Ryan and I don't like the kickers, but Ryan, who is your beautiful shiny turd this week?
Important. Obviously last week was Jake Bates. He had one field goal, didn't do super well. So sorry about that, fantasy owners. Last night, in one of my leagues, I do have kicker and Kick Fearson at 17. So hopefully you had him last night. He did really well compared to Chris Boswell. But my kicker start of the week this week is Chase McLaughlin, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers kicker. That's the shiny turd I'm going with. They play against Detroit. Monday Night Football should be a great game to watch. Lions defense still, as we saw last week, everything they're kind of in shambles, especially their secondary. So at least they'll get into the other side of the 50. Tampa Bay will, and look for him to just get some field goals. I feel like they could stop Baker a few times. I know we'll have a wide receiver start of the week that Charlie has coming up. That's returning for them. But as a whole, they still have quite a few injuries on the wide receiver front there, so they might be able to get stopped on third down and look for Chase McLaughlin to kick some field goals. So that's my shiny turd kicker start of the week. If you didn't start Kick Fearson last night, which I did in a league, and now went from being not projected to win to projected to win. That's what
Hell
kickers
yeah.
do to you, and that's why we don't like kickers all the time too, because 17 points out of Evan McPherson shouldn't win you or lose you a game, in my opinion. But that's just how fantasy football goes. So, what are some streamer defenses you got, or what is your start? Actually, first of all, what's your defense
Yeah,
start,
yeah.
Charlie? My
No,
bad.
I like that one, especially without their weapons. I might have to kick a few more field goals. I'm going with the Kansas City Chiefs, who get to play the Las Vegas Raiders, and Gino leading the league in interceptions so far this year. So take advantage of those Raiders while you still can before they make a change, or they just don't allow Gino to throw it as much because they shouldn't. They should just hand the ball off to Genty. But yeah, this is the third best matchup for defenses, and Kansas City has a really good defense, so
Yeah,
that's who I'm going with, the Chiefs.
yeah. I mean, that's a good one. They held the Lions to 17 last week too, so that's a high scoring offense. I like that pick right there. I think KC's kind of found their groove a little bit now here again. So
Yeah.
look for them
Are,
to do well.
are they now
Yes,
the Super
yeah,
Bowl favorites out of the AFC?
they are. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Um, so quickly pivoting back to last night for is Joe Flacco? Do you think he's a starter for super flex leagues?
I
He had
think for Super
26
Flex, yeah,
last
you're
night.
not going to find probably many options for Super Flex.
So mad because I picked up Joe Flacco in a super flex league, and I have Geno Smith, and I have Geno Smith starting, and I was like, oh, because like Joe Flacco was only projected like 13 last night, and he ends up at like 27. I was like, no, he was on my bench, but oh well.
Yeah, no, I think going forward, he'll definitely be startable with those weapons in a super flex.
I like that.
And even streamable, depending like on who your other options are and if it's like the right matchup. We can talk about that in weeks to come.
Yep. Yeah, sorry about that quick pivot there, Charlie. All right, let's talk about that was a good defense start. I know we Geno Smith, that's all related together. Who's your tight end start of the week, Charlie?
Oh, we're going. I didn't know we were going completely backwards, so that did throw me off here a little bit.
Oh, here, let's go to do that and go back to QB. Sorry.
No, no, no.
I
Let's
thought
do it. I'm already there. So tight ends here. I'm going with Harold Fannin playing against the Miami Dolphins. David Njoku isn't going to be playing. And I did hear the weather's going to be super bad. They were saying like 50 to 60-mile-an-hour gusts in this game. Possibly, I don't know how they can predict that this far out, like tornado type weather. But Fannon's already been playing really well with Njoku even in there. So I think just the fact that Njoku won't be there, weather's going to be kind of crappy. Gabriel doesn't really throw the ball down the field too much. I think he's a great start this week.
Yeah, I do like that. I feel like it'd be tough with the weather being crappy, but I still feel like they could dump it off, like you said. Dylan Gabriel is not that good of a QB quite yet, so we'll see what happens the rest of this year. But I know with Njoku out, um, and Fannon's going to be more of a target share guy this week, and he was, like you already mentioned, with Njoku there. But uh, that weather would scare me if that's actually the truth. I think just as a whole, everybody could be kind of bad, but we'll
Yeah,
see.
but
Uh,
maybe he'll just get a bunch of the short throws. And
yeah,
I wanted to say one other thing. I almost made George Kittle my start of the week, but we can't make the studs the starts of the week. I'm just saying, if you're a Kittle manager out there, he's playing. You got to start him. Do not start one of the middle level guys over him because you will be disappointed. Do not wait for him to go off on your bench because I think he'll be amazing right away, especially with their injuries at wide receiver.
yep, I agree. Start Kittle for sure. Um,
Who is your tight end start of the week?
Yeah, a lot of tight ends last night did well. Crazy Fryermuth, that was insane. And Darnell Washington obviously did crazy. Fant did well. Johnny Smith had a touchdown. So literally all of them last night. If you started any of them somehow, some way, you definitely got some good production and points. My tight end start of the week though, going back to a more normal guy is Zach Ertz. That's who I have starting this week. As Charlie just mentioned at the beginning of the show, Terry McLaurin is out. I had him before that even occurred, but that still definitely helps a little bit. Debo, I think, is questionable, but he'll play though. But he did on Monday. Anyways, that's one reason. Another one, last week, Zach Ertz found the end zone again. I feel like him and Jaden Daniels have that connection. Marcus Mariota was there for a little bit and kind of went off the rails. Zach Ertz is a good tight end. And then the last part is they play the Cowboys. So Dallas has a horrible defense, if I'm just going to be completely honest with you. And pass defense is no different there. Obviously, their run defense was bad, especially against Rico Dowdle last week, but pass defense is just as bad. So look for Zach Ertz to at least probably find the end zone and then also get some good points there too. So, and yards.
Yep.
So that is my tight end start of the week.
I like it. I like it.
Yeah.
No questions there. He helped me win a week in our league last week.
Yeah. As I say, last week did well for you. George Kittle, though.
Yeah, no, I'm not playing him over George Kittle, but
I wouldn't either.
he'll be nice to have as a backup just in case because Kittle could get hurt again. So,
Yeah.
all right, Ryan, wide receivers here. Who is your wide receiver start of the week?
Yeah, I know mine's not really super far down in the dweller, wide receiver wise, but I think he was projected still in like the late teens and stuff for this week. But my wide receiver start of the week is Lad McConkey. Feel like him and Herbert. I know Quentin Johnston was out last week, and that obviously helped out McConkey. I think he had close to 10 catches, and he had a touchdown, over 100 yards. Johnston's back, but still 2 weeks ago. McConkey had good production with all of them there, including Keenan Allen. Their running back situation is still to be figured out in LA, and honestly, like Vidal did all right, but like sorry, not I'm tweaking on who did well last week for the Chargers. Running back situation, yeah, it was Vidal. Anyways, they are still a throwing team, and they play the Colts. So Colts let up a lot of points already last week to Jacoby Brissett. So, and the Cardinals 27 points last week scored on them. Their pass defense is good against those horrible teams like Las Vegas, like Charlie was saying, but even the Cardinals put up some good points. So I'd say look for this one to be high scoring. Look for McConkey to get his target share again pretty high, and look for him to have some big yardage down the field. So
Wait, did you mention is Huge playing for sure. Or
He's questionable, I guess, but he's leaning towards playing. Sorry,
oh no, I just was curious because I wanted to know for my own sake. Yeah, no, I like McConkey a lot. I think he'll be good rest of the season.
yeah,
Just had a slow start to the year with Keenan Allen getting in there, but Keenan's older. I think it'll be Lad rest of the season.
yep, I totally agree with that. Charlie, who is your wide receiver start of the week?
I'm going with another ballsy one coming off the injury, Mike Evans. I think you stick him right in your lineup. He gets to go up against the Detroit Lions. Ryan mentioned this game going to be very high scoring. Baker's been a dog this year to me.
Good.
I don't think Igbuka's going to play. That's mainly why I'm doing it. He hasn't been for sure ruled out yet, but it looks like he's going to be out. Godwin is also listed as doubtful. So it's going to be Mike Evans and then Kate Otten and then our other lower wide receivers. Detroit is 30th worst against wide receivers. Last week we saw Kendrick Bourne go off against this Lions team, and then a week before that, oh, I'm sorry. Uh,
Like last week, all the Chiefs
Yeah,
just
no, I was looking at the Tampa Bay's matchup, but yeah, no, I just like the matchup here quite a bit, and I think Mike Evans will have a great game coming off the injury.
yeah, I agree with that. I mean, like you mentioned, Igbuka, if he's out, even with him in, Mike Evans is their go-to guy, honestly. And I'm slotting him to play and coming off the injuries for I think three of my fantasy teams. So hopefully he just picks up kind of right where he left off last year. And I know the beginning of this year is a little bit slower production wise, but I think he'll be good, especially against, like you said, matchup wise. And the hurt Detroit secondary and Brian Branch is also suspended for a game. So that's another big part where, and like Baker's a dog. That's probably the biggest part, honestly. So,
Yeah, Baker's
um,
been so good this year.
yep, I like that start of the week. I think he could be like really due for a huge game. I really hope Mike Evans is, honestly. And I don't think they'll try to ease him back in. I think he'll just get after it right away.
Which
So,
is scary though, because we've seen in the past where I think it was 2 years ago he came back from a hamstring injury and then
yeah,
re-injured it that next week on like a touchdown catch. So hopefully that doesn't happen. I mean, yeah, a touchdown would be nice, but I don't want him to get hurt again. I have him in another league. But yeah, I think he's in for a good week. All right, I'll jump over to my running back here. Sticking in the same game. Sticking with that matchup again, I'm going with Rashad White. I think you can keep riding that train at least until they get Bucky back. Rashad White has just been a beast so far this year, and Detroit ranks middle of the pack, but I just think with the amount of carries and catches he's getting out of the backfield from Baker, he's a great start this week.
yeah, this Sarah Shad White is great production and matchup wise. Nothing wrong with that at all. I'm starting him in our guillotine league, so hopefully he can keep up that good work.
Yeah,
So,
I think
like you said,
he's
until Bucky gets back, I know Sean Tucker did have a touchdown last week and a few of the carries, but he's not overtaking it from White until Bucky
no.
gets back. So,
It looks like he's only going in there when he's tired. And he was
yeah,
RB7 2 weeks ago, RB11 last week, getting over 15 carries a game and about 3 or 4 targets a game. So very startable. I like him a lot this week.
I agree. No, that's a good call out there.
All right,
Um,
Ryan, let's hear about your RB start of the week.
yes, my RB start of the week is coming from our hometown team. They have the Eagles at home. Vikings running back Jordan Mason. That's my RB start of the week. I just think, well, first of all, I know Mason has some fumble issues. That's tough, obviously. But then as a whole, our entire running back crew has before too. I think we're coming off a bye. Offensive line's getting healthier-ish. Mason did well against the Bengals. I think he still scored a touchdown in one of those games overseas. It might have been the Browns. I can't remember off the top of my head. What a horrible Vikings fan I am. I was kidding, but I do, I really do think this matchup is good for Jordan Mason. Cam Scatterbo did works on that Eagles defense last Thursday night. Same with Jackson Dart too. Uh, and J.K. Dobbins he found the end zone the week before. I think Jordan Mason's going to do the same exact thing. It's a noon start game. for the Vikings. I'm not saying we're winning, but that is our time where we play well is right at noon. Carson Wentz is our QB, and he'll get us into the red zone. And I'm looking for Jordan Mason to get into that end zone at least once or twice, honestly, this week. So that's my running back start of the week. I know it could be a little bit out there with this Philly defense could lock them up easily, but I just think matchup wise, offensive line, everybody's getting healthier after the bye. We have a lot of weapons, wide receiver wise. Like again, that'll spread out the offense and hand it off to Jordan Mason. He's ready to cook, and Aaron Jones is not back yet either. So that's my guy.
I don't know how I feel about this one as much. I obviously love the Vikings, and so it's tough for me to say this, but I mean, they've been without Jalen Carter a couple weeks now. That was this last week. That's where Cam Scatterbo ran all over him. So I
Mhm.
mean, that could have been part of the reason. We also saw week one when Dallas played them. He spit on Dak, and then Javonte ended up having a big game. So I
Yep,
might think that the matchup might not be as good as people think just because Jalen Carter didn't play in those two games. But that's just how I'm feeling because like you mentioned, they're like the Vikings are getting healthy, which yeah, I hope that happens. But I just think it might not be as good as a matchup as you think. That's just
that's fair. No, that's fair. Jalen Carter, he's a big one of probably the best defensive linemen in the league. So especially run stoppage wise.
yeah. And if we
Um,
go down and we have to end up throwing it, that's gonna suck because then the next thing you know, Jordan Mason is not getting many carries, which I don't know. I have faith in the Vikings, but we'll see. It'll be a tough game. Once revenge game.
it's all right. Wins revenge game. I know. Hopefully, they don't go down. That's a big part. But we'll stay with Jordan Mason, and I believe he could do well, and I obviously hope he does well.
I
So
hope so too.
there we go.
All right, we'll talk about some flex options, who you'd rather start at the end here. You want me to jump into my quarterback start of the week though here
Yeah,
first?
you can do your QB here quick, Charlie. So what do you got?
I'm going with CJ Stroud. A little bit more of a ballsy pick here. He's had some very bad weeks here in the past, but I think he's gotten better. He has the 10th best matchup for quarterbacks going into this week. And 2 weeks ago against Baltimore, he actually had a very good week. So I think just in the right matchup, you can start CJ Stroud. And this is one of them against Seattle. Against Baltimore in week five, he came out as the quarterback four. I'm not saying he's going to be finishing that high. I just think there's a good chance that he could finish as a quarterback one this week. So if you're one of those guys with Josh Allen on a bye, you could sneak in CJ Stroud.
That was the last time you had CJ Stroud as you started the week was week 4 against Baltimore, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure.
I think
Or
I
no,
almost made them,
almost had it. That's what it was. You
and
mentioned it.
then
I
I
remember that.
backed out, and then he
That's
did
pretty good.
well, and I regretted it. I started like Jared Goff, or I had Jared Goff as my start of the week, and he didn't do as well.
Yeah, but I like that. It's a good matchup. Seattle's defense, as like I talked about last week, like even because they played, wasn't it Jacksonville last week? They played the Jaguars. Let me confirm. And yeah, I mean Trevor Lawrence, they did only have 12 points, but Trevor Lawrence ended up with 18 fantasy points. So I could see CJ Stroud at least getting that number a week before that. Baker obviously kind of torched the Seattle defense. So I do like that start of the week matchup wise. But
Thank you. Well, let's
yeah.
hear about your quarterback start of the week then.
Yeah, my QB start of the week. He is the QB 12 on the season, so you're probably already starting him. I would say maybe as a whole in most leagues, depending on how deep your league is or not. But I don't know where this came from or how it came about. But Caleb Williams has just figured it out somehow, some way. It's just kind of crazy. He was looking really good, even against a good Washington defense on Monday Night Football, and maybe he just needed that. Not really our game, but maybe the end of the Lions game when they lost by a lot. That was just kind of where I feel like it clicked for Caleb Williams. He's able to find everybody aside from DJ Moore, um, who might get traded, but Luther Burden is a good target for him. Roma Dunze, obviously, Swift had that long touchdown too. So, and Caleb could run it in himself as well. And then the biggest part is they play the Saints. So
Yeah.
that matchup. Uh, Yes, it's in Chicago. Yes, it'll be a little bit colder. It won't be 50, 60 mile per hour winds, but still, I just think Caleb Williams has figured it out, and matchup against the Saints is very beneficial for him.
I
So,
agree. Yeah, I like that matchup. We just saw Drake May torch them last week.
yeah,
Who would you rather start? Caleb no, I'm not even going. Caleb or Drake May if you had both options.
I'd probably go. Ooh, because Drake May plays. They play Tennessee, don't they? Um, I'd probably go with Drake May in that situation. I just think, yeah, he's just a little bit above him right now. So
How about Justin Herbert or Caleb against
Caleb,
Indy?
one Caleb.
I'd go Herbert.
All right,
I saw some
that's
stat that Indy hasn't played a good quarterback yet. They've played all the bad ones so far.
Mhm.
So maybe that's why they've only lost one game. So maybe they struggle this week against Herbert.
Let's have that be one of our bets of the week, Charlie. Huh?
Who finishes higher?
Yeah,
Herbert or Caleb?
yeah,
All right, 4 point,
huh?
4 point quarterback.
Yeah.
All
So
right, let's do it. Yeah, we can jump over there. I did get one question for a flex option. So let's go. They were asking about would you rather start Jalen Waddle or DeAndre Swift?
PPR.
Half PPR. So DeAndre Swift does get to play New Orleans. You were just talking about Caleb, and then Jalen Waddle plays the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah, I think with half PPR there, I would start DeAndre Swift. So
Okay.
that Browns, I mean, the Browns secondary is still pretty good. Tua's, I feel like, yeah, Tua does obviously pass to Waddle a lot. Obviously with Tyreek out, but Darren Waller's still there too. I just think DeAndre Swift is gonna have another. He had a great career game kind of Monday night, and I think he'll keep that going too against the matchup for both Saints. But
Yeah. No, I'm in agreement with you there. We mentioned the weather in that game too, so you never know. Maybe Waddle as a stinker. So hopefully
yeah,
not.
yeah, weather's a big part of that too. Honestly, it's a good call out. So,
Let's do the three. Ryan, you went 3-0 against me last week.
mm-hmm.
Unfortunately,
We're
for
coming
the
back.
first time. I
Let's
think
go.
Caleb not being top 15 was a little bit ballsy for me to
Was.
say he wouldn't finish there because that's only half of the league that he has to beat out. And then Tet, I think, finished as the wide receiver 12 on the week. He had 2 touchdowns, which I thought I was going to win that one. That was crazy. We just had a lot of high performers. And then George Pickens, we had 20 and a half fantasy points. I said more, or I said less. You said more. And so
He's, oh my gosh, Pickens is crazy with Dak right now. But CD is CD coming back?
they said most likely. You still got to monitor that, but I was just seeing how do you feel about George Pickens rest of season?
Without CD there,
No, no,
amazing.
no, like with
With
CD there.
the rest of the season, though, I would say bump him down to more of a flex starter spot, and I would say uh, kind of
Flex
more.
or wide receiver too?
I'd probably do flex. Half P,
Wow,
half PP, half PPR. I do flex. So
that's ballsy. I don't know. I think I'd still want him as like a wide receiver. And maybe you can go buy him low right now with people thinking
but
CD's coming back.
yeah, I just think the thing is they target their wide receiver one just a lot there, and that was CD until he got hurt. I mean, we saw it the first 2 weeks of the season, and then it's George Pickens, but nobody else, is getting any targets there really. Obviously, aside from Jake Ferguson, um, but I think when CD comes back, target share is going to be going down for Pickens. So I'm not going to compare him to Jameson Williams, but I'm going to compare him to a little bit of Jameson Williams there. Like you need touchdowns out of Pickens at that point to be a start, and that's where I think he would be a flex go forward. But without CD there, he's like wide receiver one start on your fantasy team. That's my opinions, and I don't know. That's what I think happens. We'll see.
Interesting. Okay. All right. Well, I don't remember who made two last week and who made one. You mentioned wanting the Herbert one to be one of them. So I'll say Herbert, you say Caleb. I want to jump back on George Pickens though, since you think he's more of a flex, assuming CD plays. So we'll null and void this if CD doesn't play. So if CD plays this week, do you think George Pickens is a top 24 wide receiver this week?
Top 24 wide receiver if CD plays. Wow. The actually, there's some big ones last night. I would say no.
Okay, I'm gonna say yes.
All right, that's fair. That's fair. But if CD doesn't play, like fully
Yeah, yeah.
no,
Because
like
then
that,
yeah,
it'll,
that's what I said. We'll say
it'll be
that
a
that
top
just
10
doesn't
at
count.
that point, or even like top five. That's good. um,
Do you want me to do the last? I can't remember who did two last week and who did one.
let's see. I can do this one here.
Yeah, I think it's you.
Do you think that AJ Brown does? Do you think AJ Brown scores um half PPR or no full PPR more than 18 and a half fantasy points?
No.
I'm gonna say yes.
18 and a half. All right.
Full PPR.
Full PPR. I'm still fine with that.
All right, I like it. That was your old guy.
I'm just yeah, I think that if we do lose to the Eagles, that it'll be Saquon that beats us, not AJ Brown.
AJ Brown. I wouldn't mind if it's Saquon that beats us.
Yeah, that's just how I'm feeling about it right now. I also looked at, right as you said that, I looked up the matchup. The Vikings are number one against wide receivers, but
I know they are. I saw that. Oh, I saw that.
well, we'll lock it in. All right, so 18 and a half. Ryan said over, I said under for AJ Brown. Ryan thinks Caleb will finish higher than Justin Herbert. I said Justin Herbert would. And then the last one was George Pickens being a top 24 wide receiver. I said yes. Ryan said no.
If CD Lamb does,
Yes, yeah, I know. It looks like he's playing though. You got to monitor that injury, the like Buka injury, and yeah, whatever.
what
Debo
if like
one also is
CD?
frustrating. Oh, go
What
ahead.
if CD plays and then gets hurt midway through the game? We null in it.
I think as long as he's out there for the first drive, first play of the game, the bet's on.
Wow. Okay. All right. All right. All right.
I'll even go first drive as long as he's out there first drive, full first drive.
Yeah.
Not every play because he obviously comes out when they get like the two tight end formations or three tight end formation.
Yeah. All right.
All right.
That's fair. I
I
like
don't
it.
know what our record is now because I think we did it two, three, four, five, and six. So six times three, we have 18 in right now. I want to say I think you only had like two wins or something like, or maybe even,
It might be like 13-5 to you, probably. We'll report back on this more next week.
I want to say it's like 12 and six. I'll even give you the benefit of the doubt.
All right. But after this week, it'll be 12-9. So
We'll
I'm just
see. We'll see. All right. Well, we appreciate everyone listening. Send us your start sit questions
yeah.
and anything else you want us to answer on the show.
Yep. Don't be afraid to reach out. We got your answers as best as we can. And good luck this week 7. Have fun. And hopefully you had some guys playing last night. And if you went up against some players last night, you'll do well tomorrow or on Sunday and Monday. So
Bright and early, 8:30
yeah,
a.m. game,
yeah,
Jacksonville Rams.
that's right. Babbling Fantasy Football. Signing off.
See you later, Ryan.
See you, Chuck.